What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Scores! He did it again!
I just killed him. Before the game, I just killed John Madden because of a stink bomb.
Split special teamers, and now Brown is off to the races. Hurdles, kicks him in.
Giants are coming off a worse week than Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, that was the most exciting thing to happen tonight.
Game's over. Game is finally fucking be over.
Ed, you got to turn your mic on. I think. Got his hand on the button.
And now, our feature program.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh,
What
not
up?
too much.
What's up, Chris and the brother Watsons? How you doing?
Chris is back. He's back again.
Not for long, though.
No, apparently we're gonna be losing him. Starting next week for like 2 weeks, and then again at the end in December.
Well, no, so it's the next 2 Thursdays.
Next 2 Thursdays.
Yep.
I was going to say, I'm not going to be here next Thursday either.
We got to talk about what we're going to do for Thanksgiving, if we're going to push it back a night
That
or
would
two.
be next Thursday.
Yeah, I know. Because my day's going to start like, I don't know, 4 a.m.
I thought you and Nate were going to do a live one.
We used to, but Nate
I'll
sometimes...
be in Illinois with a bunch of kids screaming at me.
I'll be in Florida at Universal.
I'll be in the back of an alley sucking on a bottle of gin, crying myself to sleep, sucking my thumb.
You know that ain't going to be what you're sucking.
What he started saying first is what he's going to be sucking.
Yeah.
This is a family show, folks.
No,
That's
it's
why
not
we
a
didn't say
family
it.
show. I make sure I do not. I click it. It is not for children.
Not with Smitty's on.
So, Smitty, you wrote up the college, but I'm sure
I did.
But I'm sure Chris would like to comment on a bunch of the college stuff because he knows more about it than anybody else we know. So, do you want to start off with it, and we'll just make Chris comment on stuff?
Well, I figure Chris would do it. I mean, unless you want to do the very top thing that you wrote up there, whoever put that up there.
Oh, that was Chris that put something up there?
Yeah, I put some stuff in there, so I'll lead it off. But
you lead it off.
I wanted to take a second, to acknowledge the 3 University of Virginia players that were shot and killed on their charter bus. Junior receivers Lavelle Davis Jr. and Devin Chandler, and junior defensive end / linebacker Deshaun Perry. On Sunday night, they were shot and killed on a charter bus. Running back Mike Hollins is hospitalized after being shot in the back. And then a fifth person on the bus, Virginia student Marlee Morgan, was also shot but is in good condition. Wow. So I just wanted to take a moment to, throw our, thoughts and prayers out to those families and that university. So,
yeah, that was a shocking. I mean, what can you say about it? You just, yeah.
Does anybody know the reasoning behind it, or?
Not that I'm aware of. I do know. I kind of the article that I pulled everybody's names from did mention something about the suspect that's in custody has had gun charges before.
And also
I believe
an ex-player.
An ex-player. So it's just I make jokes about everything, but I'm not going here because it's not funny.
No.
So.
See if you want to take the rankings.
Oh, okay. I guess I could do that. Number 1 through number 5 has not changed. Georgia's 1, Ohio State's 2, Michigan's 3, TCU is 4, Tennessee is 5. LSU moves up 1 to 6. USC also does to 7. Alabama's 8, moving up 1. Clemson's 9, moving up 1, and Utah's moving up 1 to 10. And that is all because I believe it was Oregon that lost. They were number 6 and they got beat up. So all the teams went up 1, and the top 5 teams stayed the same.
Wow. But really, everybody's trying to fight to get to the top 4, right? Right, Chris?
Correct. So here's the problem, and I'll address this a little bit more later too. Here's the problem. Georgia's not going to lose. Plain and simple. Georgia's not going to lose. The only way Georgia loses is if like half their starters come down sick for the SEC championship game.
And they still might not lose.
And even then, they're probably still going to win because they're going to play LSU. So unless LSU can pull out a win, which I don't think they can, Georgia's going to stay at 1. 2 and 3 play in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Replay next week. So one of those is going to drop out more than likely. TCU,
even if it's a tight, like a good tight game, they might drop.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They'll drop. Whoever loses that game is going to drop out and be the.
It definitely, especially if it's Michigan. There's no way Michigan stays in. Ohio State may, depending on what happens with the rest of the rankings before then, maybe drop to 4. But yeah,
maybe. So, and then that's why they're saying more than likely Tennessee could still get in. The only way Tennessee, I think, doesn't get in.
Ooh, talking about a cliffhanger. Whoa. Whoa. Yes, Chris? Go on.
TC doesn't get in?
Anyway, so Tennessee could get in. TCU, you got to watch them as well.
I don't think he realized he cut out there.
Oh, yeah, you cut out the only way
how does Tennessee get in?
Yeah.
So Tennessee gets in. Tennessee can get in with a Michigan loss because I think they'll drop Michigan to 5, move Tennessee up to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Tennessee still pretty much Tennessee's almost a lock to get in, to be honest.
You really think if Ohio loses by like a field goal, they're going to drop out of the top 4?
Yeah. They've done it before.
Really?
There's not a lot of respect for those teams compared to the SEC teams.
And the fact is they don't want a repeat game.
They don't want a Michigan game from last year. They don't want the really random 31-0 blowout that happened a few years ago with Ohio State and Clemson, right? When they put in a one-loss non-conference champion Ohio State over a 2-loss conference champion Penn State.
Right. So
but yeah,
the thing is,
pretty much get in with an LSU loss in the SEC.
Right. Now the thing is, what happens if LSU beats Georgia?
Georgia drops to probably 4.
Does LSU move up to 3? Let's just put this out there. Let's say, because Ohio State and Michigan, one of those two are going to lose.
Yeah.
So say Georgia loses and say Michigan loses. Now you have Ohio State, TCU, Tennessee, LSU, or do you think Georgia stays in?
So I think it comes down to if it's a blowout, Georgia drops completely out. If it's a close game, I think Ohio State. So I'm going to say this is with Ohio State winning, right? Whoever the winner of Ohio State Michigan is.
Yeah.
Right. If Georgia loses, the winner of that game will move to 1. Georgia will probably drop to 4 and this is assuming TCU wins. TCU will go up to 2 or 3. Georgia may only drop to 2. They may only drop 1, and then you bring LSU up into 5.
It's gonna be interesting. I do like this ranking right now, though.
But here's the thing: you're not gonna have an SEC team, or you're not gonna put an LSU and a Georgia at 1 and 4.
No,
or you're not. So, however it boils out, you're not gonna put 2 SEC teams 2 and 3 or 1 and 4 because they'd have to play the next week. So
I think they would. No, I think that would, because I think what they're going to try to do is they don't want to have 2 SEC teams playing for the championship. They don't want 2 Big Ten teams playing for the championship. So they'd want Georgia to play LSU or whoever it might be, or Tennessee in the championship game, and Michigan or Ohio State play TCU. That way, only one SEC team goes, and then the other conference goes, because you have a bigger audience to watch it.
Very true.
I would think.
So it's almost like an AFC, NFC kind of thing.
Right, because I mean, the SEC would love to see Georgia play like Tennessee or something in the championship, but who cares about that if you're from in the middle of the country? They're like, okay.
And I want to throw this out there because, I'm not saying that the SEC isn't the best conference in college football. I'm not saying that. However, this week I'm going to run through some of the top ranked SEC schedule games for this week. Let me see. Let me find them. Number 8, Alabama plays Austin P. Mississippi State plays East Tennessee State, which East Tennessee State did beat Miami. So, okay. Texas A&M plays UMass. Vanderbilt plays Florida, that's an actually pretty decent game. Well, Florida will destroy them, but
Well, no, you are right, and I'm just interrupting you.
FCS schools this week.
That's true for this week, but as far as a whole, I would say that Ohio State is as good as any team in the nation. They're just as good as Georgia. They're very close. So that's like 1A.
Ohio State team shows up.
Right. That's 1A, 1B. But then when you go down the teams as good as they are, then you kind of go with the weakest link in the strength of each team. I think the SEC has overall better teams on a whole than any other conference. Your top team is the same, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth team is probably better than the SEC. Even though Michigan's sitting there like big ass dog.
I think once you get past in the Big Ten, once you get past Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State, and Wisconsin, when they're Wisconsin, not the last couple of years, right? You get past those, we're mediocre.
Right.
Illinois is making a rise, but that's it. So yeah,
it should be an interesting game this weekend.
Heisman. What's that? Were you asking the question?
No, I just said it should be the Illinois game this weekend. Should be interesting.
Yeah, Illinois, Michigan, yeah, but they're going in Ann Arbor, so it could be different.
I hope Illinois beats the fire.
I would love it.
No favoritism here.
What was I gonna say? Heisman odds have not really changed. It's still pretty much a 2-horse race for the most part between Hendon Hooker and CJ Stroud.
Yeah, Hooker should win. And the reason I say Hooker should win is didn't what's his name win it last year?
Oh, that's Bryce Young.
Bryce Young won it last year. You're right. I think Hooker
Stroud was a finalist, but he didn't win it.
Yeah,
I think he played. And then I know we've talked about the open coaching positions that get a lot of interim coaches. So Matt Rule was in Omaha this last week and had meetings with the University of Nebraska. So he is one of a couple names, but he's the one that keeps coming up a lot to take over for Scott Frost at Nebraska, which I think might actually be a pretty good
fit for him.
Move for him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, we take a high school coach that's an analyst and puts him in charge of the professional football team, the Indianapolis coach. I mean, and they win. So maybe the old coach for the pros can actually win in a college game.
So what you're telling me is you're gonna interview for a head coaching job in the NFL.
Might as well.
At this point, why not?
As long as you're playing the Raiders, you got a chance.
I would coach one game and one game only. I'd be happy with it.
Right. So going over last week's games to watch. Number 4 at the time, TCU versus 18 Texas. TCU pulled it out 17-10. I didn't watch this game. However, I heard Texas was just garbage on offense.
It was atrocious. And if Texas would have played half as decent as they usually played, they would have won that game.
Yeah. Oregon lost to Washington. Number 6 Oregon lost to number 25 Washington. That's why they dropped 37-34.
That was your upset pick of the week.
That was my upset pick of the week was Texas and TCU, but that was the upset of the week in the college football.
And then Alabama squeaked one out against Ole Miss, 30-24. Tulane beat UCF beat Tulane 38-31. And then Miami versus Georgia Tech. This was Smitty's interesting game. Apparently it wasn't. It was 35-14.
Oh, I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll put it this way. I think it was 14-14 or 21-14 with. No, it was 14-14 with like 4 minutes left or 5 minutes left, and Miami scored whatever that is, 21 points in like 4 minutes. So that was interesting, but.
Coastal Carolina squeaked past 26-23.
Who'd they squeak past, Smitty?
Oh, I wrote that down. I didn't write it down. I'm a dumbass. Some team.
Okay.
Cajuns right the ship with a 36-17 win over Georgia Southern.
Yep.
Nate Reed and Cajuns. So for this week's games to watch, we have number 7 USC versus number 16 UCLA. That's Smitty's upset pick.
I'm just hoping. I don't like USC. I'm sorry for all the people on the West Coast that listen to this show.
I do think it's a possibility. Number 10 Utah versus number 12 Oregon. I think Oregon pulls this one out, but it's a close game.
That would be interesting because Utah is 10 now, Oregon is 12 now, and Oregon was 10, so that'd be interesting.
No other rank v rank games. So Illinois versus Michigan, Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Both of those games could be good. Depends on which Illinois. So Illinois' defense is always pretty strong. If their offense actually shows up this week and doesn't make a ton of penalties, it could be a game.
Aren't they the most highly rated? Most penalized team in their conference? If I remember correctly. I'm going to go with yes until Chris comes back because
here we are.
They are the most penalized team in their conference, aren't they?
Probably. I would have to look, but I wouldn't doubt that they are. So
and I put those on there because it's always interesting to me to watch, like Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma, Michigan State, Illinois, Michigan. Those I just like watching those games.
I'll watch them too. I'll watch around here like the Auburn whatever game. But so because next week is Thanksgiving and I will not be on. I kind of previewed for next week. Next week starts rivalry week across college football. Notable rivalries to watch for and for news and shit talking, essentially. NC State versus University of North Carolina. Smitty, I think this one kind of hits home to you guys, right? Florida versus FSU.
There's going to be a lot of unhappy people everywhere I am around here.
So
I'm the only Hurricanes fan, so I don't give a damn.
Anytime I've ever caught like that game, that is usually a really good game.
Yeah. FSU's hit or miss. Florida hit or miss. So it could be a game. So
yeah.
Notre Dame versus USC. That's always a tough game. I'm kind of hoping if USC wins, right? They're 7. They might move up next week. And Notre Dame comes out and beats USC. That makes our Notre Dame win look even better.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
Obviously, the Iron Bowl. Thank God it is not here this year. It is up. I won't be here anyway, but it is up in Tuscaloosa. Auburn versus Alabama. I don't see that game going any other way but badly for Auburn.
Yes, they're my second favorite team too, so I'm gonna feel bad about that.
And then, of course, the greatest game in college football, the Ohio State University versus that team up north. Number 2 versus number 3, depending on if Illinois gets it done. Yes.
That's going to be beautiful, friend. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be a good game.
It's played in Columbus. It's going to be played at the Shoe, which is awesome because it's the 100-year anniversary of the Horseshoe. So,
hold on, I got a question now because I didn't realize that the Illinois-Michigan game, neither one of them are ranked, even though they possibly are in running for the playoffs.
Michigan is ranked, but Illinois isn't ranked.
Okay. Well, usually even if they're not ranked, Smitty will put the ranking next to them. So I thought, okay.
Yeah, Michigan is ranked. They're ranked number 3.
Yeah, well, then I thought
why
we were
didn't you include my teams now?
I thought we were talking about a different Michigan.
Oh no!
Come on, rivalry week. The Cox take on the Tigers.
Oh yeah,
they do.
Clemson versus South Carolina does happen. I didn't really put that because it hasn't been much of a rivalry in recent years, but
it's a one-sided thing.
It's technically a rivalry.
Yeah, the border bash or whatever it's called. It's wonderful. You should have you gone to that one last year? You went there last year, were you, Jeremy? Not yet.
No.
Yeah, if you get
I was here last year for it, but
if you get a chance to go to that border bash game between the two, you should. It's just it's a party. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. I mean, you obviously do your thing, but it's not like a violent thing. They don't get like angry. I mean, they do.
They do.
It's a good place to be.
So
it's a good time.
So that's what I got for college. It should be an interesting next couple weeks. Well, no, because ranking. Yeah, the final. By the time we broadcast again, we should have a clearer picture of who's going into the playoffs because it'll probably be right before the Big Ten championship game. Which shit, I'm going to miss the Big Ten championship game.
How you gonna miss it?
They have cable on cruise ships.
If they play it on the cruise ship, the last time I went on a cruise during football season, the only games we got were like Alabama games. But most championship games probably would be on. So, hopefully I'll be able to watch those. But
well, you should call them and find out if it's gonna be, because if not, you want to switch your tickets till later.
So, but we should have a clearer picture of who's going to be in the playoffs. Actually, we should know because those rankings come out that day. And then I think that the week after we should have our Heisman.
Yes.
First Heisman in December.
Mm. Yeah. All right. So, Smitty.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any stupid stats you want to ask us this week?
I do have some stupid stats. This is going to be a fun game today. What I did today is I scoured the internet and all the
for cartoon clowns.
No, these are not cartoons, Joe. So these are stats from 2021. I'm going to give you the stat, and you all tell me what player had these stats.
Oh, geez.
Can you do this for me?
Chris might know something.
I'm not going to give you every stat because I might give it away. But what quarterback? This is 2021. What quarterback had 4,115 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions?
Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady.
What do you think, Chris?
Mahomes.
Oh, those were all great, wonderful guesses. And Jeremy got it right. It was Aaron Rodgers.
The 4 interceptions give it away.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's go with Jeremy. I mean, not Jeremy, with Travis on this one first. Jeremy, which running back had over 2,000 yards rushing and over 20 total touchdowns?
That was Henry, the king.
What do you think, Chris?
I'm going to go Derrick Henry.
How about you, Jeremy?
That would be Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts.
That would be Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts.
Smitty, you were like 0 for 9 on games this week because none of us pay attention to stats like Jeremy does.
Come on, Henry got hurt last year, remember? He missed half the season.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought he had over two, like, it was like...
No,
it was like
he missed
1,200
half the
yards.
season.
Yeah, until he got hurt, he had already had like 1,200 yards or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
Okay, let's see. Let's make this a little bit easier then. Let's switch this up a little bit for you, Chris, that don't know names and stuff. Where's that? Okay. Where do we go? Where's it at? It's a good one. Okay. This is easy. T.J. Watt and Robert Quinn recorded more sacks in fewer games than what football team?
The Jets.
More sacks?
He said the Jets.
Okay. What do you think, Jeremy?
I'm going with the Giants.
How about you, Travis?
Worst defense. Jaguars.
Those were all wonderful guesses, and I probably would have said Jaguars too. That's exactly what I would have said. But no, Atlanta Falcons.
Really?
Really. Apparently, their defense sucked really good. So, and my last one here, and this is I'm going to give a name, and we're going to do over under. Okay. Kenny Galladay from I think the Giants.
Yes.
Last year, how many receiving yards did he have?
From the Giants. Jeremy, you got a number?
I'm going last.
Oh, I thought it was your turn to go first.
Oh yeah, I mean we already went around one time. This was like the tiebreaker, so
I'm gonna go with 500 yards.
Okay.
Chris?
I'm going to say 1,900.
1,900.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say 10, but I don't think he played at all last year. I'm pretty sure he was injured all season.
You say 10
Yes.
and 1900. Those are the two extreme ends.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the dude is.
He was hurt most of last season, wasn't he?
He was hurt most last season, but he did play, and he caught yardage was 521.
Yes.
Good job, Travis. So those are my.
Look at this, so I thought maybe he was like a really good receiver. I just didn't know who the hell he was.
He's a good receiver. He ain't an elite receiver.
He's getting paid like he's a top tier receiver.
I fear if he was the stat line guy, he's had it, but he's gotta be like somebody that had quite a few yards. I'm like, but I didn't see him last year really at all. So I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't think he played last year. I thought he was injured all season.
500 is like 3 or 4 decent games. So
Not if he's a Giants player.
it's true. All right, so let's get to some NFL stuff now.
Well, let's update on the game. The Packers are currently losing 14-6 with about 30 seconds left in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
They were down by 14 points against the Cowboys. They got this.
That was the Cowboys.
Cowboys have better defense than Titans.
Yes, but Titans know how to play close games.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get to the big news. So Buffalo's weather this weekend is calling for 6 feet of snow. Yes, that was feet, not inches, feet.
Tall as me.
On Sunday, that's what they're expecting. Because of this, the NFL has moved the game to Detroit's Ford Field, which apparently was going to have a carnival there. But
yes, it was supposed to be a carnival weekend there because the Lions are playing in New York against the Giants at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, and apparently that has now stopped the carnival from happening because the NFL has more of a leeway than a carnival. So what do we think this is going to do for Buffalo? Is this going to hurt them? Is this going to help them?
I don't think it's really going to affect them. They're playing the Browns. If anything, it might be better for Josh Allen's elbow to play in a climate-controlled dome compared to in the snowy east of Buffalo.
But do we think that that's going to maybe help the Browns? I mean, the Browns aren't as good as the Bills, so if you put them on a even killing field, damn, an even field, the Bills are obviously, I think, going to win. Does that mean that the Buffalo faithful get a refund for their money, or do they have to fly?
They have to travel.
This is Buffalo we're talking about. They're traveling.
They travel better than any team right now. Well, in the last probably like 10 years, they travel better than Patriots fans because Patriots fans got so used to winning. Where Buffalo fans are like, "Yeah, we need to win. We want to be there. We want to be there for everything." But to make this more interesting, Buffalo is playing on Thanksgiving against Detroit because the Lions play every Thanksgiving. So, do we think this is actually going to help them because they're just going to stay out there this whole week?
I mean, if they get 6 feet of snow, they are. Why the hell would you go back to 6 feet of snow?
Well, somebody's wife needs to have to be shoveled out.
They have people that do that for them. They
have
don't shovel it.
They have somebody to plow their wife.
Yes.
Jesus Lord. No, so I think they do stay out in Detroit for sure. And I'm glad you brought it up because I don't know if you know about this, but I'm going to bring it up. It's out of nowhere. But Miami, my Dolphins, they have a team. They got to buy this week. Then they got to play the Titans, or not the Titans, or the Texans.
Yeah.
Then they have to go.
So
to the
they
West
got 2 weeks of bye weeks.
Now they go to the West Coast and play the Chargers, and then play the Rams on the West Coast, and then go play the Jets.
So they're playing back-to-back games in the same stadium on the road.
Yeah.
And then they are flying over to the East Coast up in New York. They got 3 back-to-back away games on the opposite coast. I mean, at least it ain't Rams, Jets, Chargers, but that's crap. But anyways, I just wanted to bitch about that a little bit.
Well, we can bitch about that the following weeks. It could be worse. Like you said, it could be flying back and forth. At least they're keeping them out there.
I mean, think about Seattle. They fly back and forth a lot. On average, they do the most yardage or most miles traveled per season.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So the Eagles the undefeated Eagles finally lost a game this past Monday.
Up the bubbly.
So, but they were overdue. They just had a really bad game. It looked like. I don't know what you guys thought, but it just looked like they were like nothing was clicking that on Monday night.
I think Washington had a really good game plan, and I think they executed it to perfection. And that's what I think happened. I think it's also, as Jeremy points out a lot, it's a conference game. It's Eagles and Washington. You might as well throw the records out the window. So
that and Heineke always gets Washington to play better than they have been when they play like conference teams. Anyways,
I thought this game was over in the first minute because of a strip sack. Philadelphia had the ball. I was like, oh, this is done.
Yeah.
And then Washington rose to occasion and stopped.
I looked at my thing and I went and said, "Yes, I'm gonna beat Smitty," and then all of a sudden, no, I'm not gonna beat Smitty.
Oh my Lord, that was so the end of that game. I was like, he's gonna win. He's down by 45 points. He got 2 players. Their main running back, their quarterback. He's gonna get 65 points.
Yeah.
I think you lost by 3. It was crazy.
I lost by more than that, I thought. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But I've checked out the rest of their schedule. I don't know if you guys have. Do we see them losing more than one other game this season? Do you guys need the rest of their schedule?
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm sorry, I ate food when I shouldn't have. I know the rest of their schedule because Merlin is a Cowboy fan.
So the rest of their schedule is the Colts this Sunday, Packers, Titans, Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and then the Giants again.
Yeah, I don't see them going undefeated. I mean, I see them losing probably 2 to 3 more games.
2 to 3 more games? Who do you think they're going to lose to?
I think they lose to the Cowboys. I think they split with the Giants. And I don't know about the Packers. I mean, depends on what Packer team shows up because we don't know what's happening tonight with this Packers team right now. They pull off the win here.
See, really, I think the Titans are like the one guaranteed loss.
You love the Titans, don't you?
No, it's just I think the Titans have finally figured out what they're supposed to be doing. And they're finally making it happen. So that's why I think the Titans are finally, because they're like, shit, if we don't start winning, we're not going to make the playoffs. So I see the Titans beating them. Giants maybe splitting. But the Green Bay, that's a coin flip. It depends on which Green Bay shows up.
That always seems to be the way. And with
Especially,
Eagles, as I said before, you have to respect their record, but you also have to look at the record about who they beat and how they beat them.
Right.
Yeah, I think Philly's more of an end result of who they've currently been playing this year. They've had a pretty easy schedule so far.
Well, they played the Vikings and
high in the power rankings.
Beat them pretty good. The Cardinals aren't awful.
The Cardinals are garbage.
They
definitely were, and they had a little blip, and now they're boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a blip for a week when Hopkins came back.
Yes. And they were not good. And I don't know what Kyler Murray's problem is this year, but I mean,
the new Call of Duty was coming out, and then it came out.
Yeah, and then he got injured.
Yes, when Call of Duty 2.0 or whatever was coming out.
Yeah. But I could see them finishing with only 3 losses total for the season. If they say, like, if this was a wake-up call and say, hey, we got to get our act together, they may go the rest of the season with only 1 more loss.
I could see them losing 3, maybe 4 more.
3 more? Wow. Okay.
3 to 4.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Chris? Someone who never watches pros?
Come on, they're playing the Bears. That's at least 1 loss, right, Chris?
Exactly. Hey. Fields has been running the ball.
I don't know. It looked like they stopped Fields from running the ball at all last week. It's like they told him, you run the ball again, you're getting benched.
He threw an interception late, and that's what lost the game. They were in there into that.
Yeah.
He still ran for, 80-something yards?
I should rather have him than Mac Jones.
right, so me and Nate were talking about this when we dropped off my motor on Monday at the back of my old motor at the junkyard. And me and Smitty were talking about this during the Green Bay game, that this year more than ever before, it seems like the NFL has determined how and who's going to make the playoffs. And that's kind of why like ticky-tack penalties are being called in a lot of these games for one team but not the other.
Yeah, we get down that rabbit hole, and it's ugly. And I've been
just
in the
more
back
than
of,
ever. It looks like the refs are being scripted on how there's need to be calls.
I've mentioned that in our chat a few times watching the game. I'm like, yes, I'm convinced it's scripted because
Oh, it definitely is.
It's like there's we lost Chris.
We lost Chris.
He probably ain't coming back. College is done. He don't care. So it's just
Hey, he has to make his picks at some point in time.
it's like how's it happen all the time? It happens it's like how's this happening like this? It's just I understand it happens once in a while, but it happens twice a week.
Yeah, well, it was like, hey, Tom Brady won this morning. We can't let Aaron Rodgers lose this
right
tonight. And it's like Cowboys were being called for ridiculous penalties and stuff that would normally not be called.
Or what about the Bills having 12 guys on the field and they don't call a penalty?
Yeah.
And they still lost.
Yeah.
Yes. What an end to that game, though.
Oh.
That was
a crazy
that was one of the best games like ever.
The last 3 minutes of that game was just
because that's what it is because the Bills stopped them. And I don't know if the Bills actually stopped him because I think the play before that one play, I think the guy crossed the line. But
yeah.
But then they stop him, and then it's like, okay, guys, we weren't supposed to stop him. We're supposed to fumble the ball. Fumble the ball. Okay, we'll fumble the ball. You know,
yeah.
like,
something
they kept getting
never,
the wrong
ever
information.
happens.
It's like, no, we're supposed to win. No, we're supposed to win.
Yeah, you're not kicking that field goal just in case. Kick the goddamn field goal.
It wasn't fourth down. That's the reason they didn't kick the field goal there. The interception was on third down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why it's just he went to force it downfield instead of taking the easy pass.
Yeah, he's starting to look a little not so elite right now. Last two games he's played.
He's starting to look like year 2 all over again.
Yep. Well, he lost his quarterback guru. He went to the Giants.
That is true. Devil.
Yeah, Dayball.
Dayball, yeah. All right. Last thing I had on here was the Raiders. Oh, Smitty added something, but we'll let him pull that.
That's the signing of Sue to the Eagles, but we can skip that.
So the Raiders can't seem to find a way to win. They lost to a team with a coach that has never seen an NFL coaching position ever. He is a analyst, I think it is, an offensive analyst. For the Colts. He was an offensive analyst for the Colts and a high school coach. And he beat McDaniels and the Raiders with a week's preparation.
It's Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
He was all-star center for the Colts.
So all-pro center. Yeah. Not an all-guard center.
Yeah.
All-star
center.
Yeah. All-guard center.
I didn't say guard.
Well, he was a good guarder of the quarterback.
I guess it just goes to show that sometimes coaches overthink things. Football is a basics. I mean, it's pretty basic. You can get all intricate.
If you think about it, all they did was run the ball pretty much all game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was an interim coach. Like, okay, what are we going to do? What's our strength? Run the ball? Okay, run the ball.
So
it's like, just make sure and then throw it on occasion.
I was kind of hoping Chris was going to be here for this because I wanted to ask him, is it possible that the Raiders are looking for a number 1 or a number 2 overall pick this coming year? And this is why they are looking like they're trying to win, but they're not winning?
I don't see. I mean, I know I'm jumping in talking before anyone else for some reason, this show for some reason, but I know that you tank for a player and stuff, and I know the organization may want to do that, but I don't believe coaches or players are trying to do that because they're fighting for their jobs. They want to get paid. They want to get moved somewhere else. They want to win because when you win, you get kept. When you're doing a good job, you get kept. You can't be doing a bad job and losing games and be kept.
Well, right now, Raiders can't afford to fire McDaniels, so
I'm not just talking about McDaniels, but everyone else. But the power, the strength they have on that team, it's poor coaching. And McDaniels, he is a great offensive coordinator. That's what he played for the Patriots, right? He's an offensive. And I know that Bill Belichick signed off on everything. Bill Belichick was the defensive-minded guy. That's why their defense is always stout. So there's something missing in his head coaching ability.
I think it's his ability to pick coaches to work with him is the big issue.
Okay, because that's just there's no reason they shouldn't be winning more games. I mean, not be undefeated or whatever, but there's no reason that the talent on this team, and they're not injured. They're not like a bunch of injuries like Denver or San Francisco or something.
Well, and for some reason, his receivers just cannot catch a freaking ball after about halftime.
I'm telling you right now, it's like, hey, Adams, we got you. We gave you a lot of money. I'm throwing you the ball. Who's getting the ball? He is. You better 45 people cover this guy because he's the only one getting the ball. I might throw 5 interceptions because he's being covered by 3 people, but he's getting thrown the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just.
And Smitty just deleted, but Ndamukong Suh has gone from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Eagles, so that is helpful.
Ndamukong Suh was a free agent. He was signed out of free agency by the Eagles.
Well, he was last on Tampa.
His last team he played for was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yes.
Right. Did he play for the Rams at one point?
No.
No. Where was he before, Jeremy?
Before Tampa?
Yeah.
He played for Miami for a little bit. He went up to Detroit, I think.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was a big name team. I think he's kind of been hopping around the league.
Yeah, after Miami let him go. So
he jumped to Detroit and a few other teams here and there, but
so I guess my question about that is, I mean, obviously they're trying to buy a Super Bowl.
Oh yes, they are.
Is it gonna work?
They figured it worked last year for the Rams.
So the thing was, last week against the Commanders, the Eagles got run all over. So what do? You bolster your defensive line, and he's the second person they've picked up out of free agency this week to bolster that defensive line.
And he has been a known run stopper.
Yes, he is. He is a tank.
He's definitely. I mean, he's a hole blocker. So you put 2 guys on him, and that hole's no longer there because someone else has just filled it.
Yep,
that's what he does. And
if he stayed in shape, he'll be ready to play this weekend.
I mean, he's older now, so he's probably not as effective. But I'd still take an 80% Suh than I would 100% most other defensive linemen.
Yeah,
or defensive ends.
All right, Smitty, you got all of the.
I did
the rankings together from the. What do you call it?
The council, the brain council of the most knowledgeable football fans in the world, got together and put in secret ballots, sent my carrier pigeons and smoke signals and stuff to give me this information, which I had to push together and give to a mouse, and the mouse put it in the safe for me to reveal it right now. So what we're looking at right now is we have a lot of teams on this list. I mentioned every team that someone voted for. So they're not in the top 10, but these are 15 through 11 if you give them numbers, but I do not give them numbers. They're just not ranked. The Bears, the Bengals, and the Bucks all got a vote.
Wow.
And they're all down there. And they weren't ranked last week, and they weren't even talked about last week. But they got a vote this week. Seahawks are not ranked this week. Last week they were tied for number 8. And the Giants were not ranked this week. Last week they were ranked number 10.
Yes, they only fell 1.
Do I?
They only fell 1 spot.
That is true. So let me undo the prettiness here. And highlight color is not yellow. Black. Okay. There we go. That looks like crap. I'm figuring this out. I'm sorry, guys.
Here,
black. There we go. And black. Okay, I got it. Why are you messing with my stuff, man? What are you doing? Travis, leave it alone. Damn, man, I got this.
You were taking too long. You don't have a mouse, do you?
I had this, man. I wasn't doing it all at once.
Oh.
And now you got my stuff all blacked out. It's okay, man. Wait, did you not see me moving this?
He puts a lot of time and effort into this information he receives from the council.
Here, I'll do this. Watch.
Oh my God! Just stop touching the freaking screen! God dang!
Hey, Chris is back. Hey, since you're back.
Oh my God! Now I got to do everything all over. You know what? You're not getting your stuff today. It's just not happening.
All right, since you're back, Chris, I wanted to know: is there some predictions for coming out in the draft? Is there anybody that would be highly touted over at number 1 or number 2?
Quarterback, that is.
Or anybody?
So right now, all the projections are saying Bijan. I can't say his name. I think it's Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas. They're projecting him number 1, and then C.J. Stroud 2, and I believe Bryce Young 3.
That would be 2 quarterbacks in a running
The
back.
Alabama quarterback that got injured and like they yell at him like they did Tua. So, okay.
I think we just saw. Oh,
Starts again.
Oh, I see Chris there. Okay. It's good that you're
Okay.
Okay.
Did you hear
Number
any
10.
of that?
yes, we did.
Number 10
Okay.
is the Jets. They were tied for 8 last week. Number 9 is the Titans. They weren't ranked last week. 8 is the 49ers. They have moved up from not being ranked all the way to 8. All the way to 8. Cowboys dropped us 2 spots to 7 from 5. The Ravens were tied at 6 last week and are 6 this week. The Dolphins were tied at 6 last week and moved up a rank to 5.
Well,
The
just look at
Bills-
the difference between 5 and 6 for total points.
Okay. The Dolphins is at 6 points total. Oh, sorry, 30 points total, and the Ravens are at 18 points total. So the council has decided that the Dolphins are a head and shoulders much better than the Ravens right now. The Cowboys and Ravens difference is only 2 points total. The Bills went from number 2 to number 4 at and the Vikings go up from 1 to 3. The Eagles go down to 2 from number 1. And the Chiefs, once again, claim the top spot because, well, the Eagles lost. And they move up 2 spots to 1 from number 3 with a total points of 45, which means someone did not rank them number 1.
Well, the funny part is the Eagles are at 44 and the Chiefs are 45.
Yeah, there's 1 point difference between Eagles and Chiefs. And so in case you missed it, Chris, which I know you did, the Bears are on this list, but they're not ranked, but they did get a point. Someone voted for them.
Someone on the council voted for the Bears.
Bears versus the world.
All right. So let's go to our little fantasy league that we play every weekend and every Thursday and Monday nights. Number 1, Ladies and Elements beat number 3, Purple Cobras, 209.55 to 169.19. Number 2, The Thick had the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback not show up and lost to the number 6 Dolphins, 170.26 to 167.2. Number 4, Bunch of Nobodies lost to 2 Girlies, 1 Cup. This is why Journey was glad he's up here and not back at home.
Oh, I didn't even look to see if I won or not.
Oh,
last
yeah,
week.
you beat her 204.36 to 194.69. Number 5, The Implication beat Lieutenant Dan's Magic Legs at 204.69 to 174.91. Number 8, Isn't It Breakfast, lost to number 10, The Muppets, 191.02 to 167.79.
So, Chris, you still have a chance at the Sacco.
Yep.
Will be mine.
This week.
Oh, Chris is getting that Sacco. That Sacco for sure.
The number 1, Ladies and Ellens, playing number 7, 2 Girlies, 1 Cup.
Hey, that's an unfair
Girly.
advantage.
Come on, girlie, get it.
Number 2, The Thick, is playing number 3, the Purple Cobras.
Come on, Thick, beat that booty.
Oh, I trying, but right now I'm gonna lose. Number 4, Bunch of Nobodies, is playing number 5, The Implication. Number 6, the Dolphins, is playing number 9, The Muppets.
And I got nothing but people on IR. And
Number 8, Isn't It Breakfast, is playing number 10, Lieutenant Dan's Magic Legs, who's now back in the lead for the Sacco.
And this is the Tank Bowl for this week.
I might actually judging by some of his scores, may be able to pull one out.
It's funny because every week you and Gail are just flipping back and forth.
Like either she wins and then I drop back down, or I'll win and she drops back down.
Yeah.
In both my leagues, I have a combined total of like 3 wins. 3 or 4.
All right, let's get to everybody's favorite part of the week where we waste some money. The Thick and Thin Sportscast does not support or advocate anyone to actually place monetary bets on anything we talk about on this show. This is for entertainment purposes only, as we are not professionals. Never bet money you cannot afford to lose. If you or anyone you know has or thinks they have a gambling problem, the national hotline is 1-800-522-4700. It is 100% confidential and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, please go to mcpgambling.com. Jeremy, our record is now 13-12-3.
Come on, Jeremy, picked it right, dude. What's wrong with you, man? I got millions on this.
It was a bad week. The Saints lost to the Steelers. We gave them. We were picking them with giving up 1.5 points. The Cowboys lost to the Packers. They were giving up 4 points. Miami was the only one that covered, who was giving up 3.5 to the Browns, and the Raiders lost to the Colts, and they were giving up 4.5 points.
I just don't understand. It's like, let's just bet the Pats, okay? Win, lose, or draw, bet on them because they have not disappointed in my bet so far when I bet them last year.
So this year, Jerry, it looks like you're picking this week, looks like you're picking the Commies over the Texans, giving up 3. I'll agree with that. Because they announced that Heineke is still going to be their quarterback this week. Heineke. He's their quarterback going for this week, so he's getting another shot, even though I think Carson Wentz is healthy, finally.
No, he's not healthy yet.
Not yet?
No, not yet.
When is Carson Wentz healthy?
Yeah.
Just saying.
The Ravens are giving up 13 points to the Panthers.
You know, if that was any team besides the Panthers in this last week, I'd say that's a crazy bet, but the Panthers are probably the worst team in the NFL right now.
I think they're starting Baker this week because I think P.J. Walker's hurt. And Sam Darnold is their backup.
Yeah, and I like Baker, but I think Panthers just lost any kind of soul. They just have no desire. It looks like they're just like, eh.
They're going for that number 1 pick.
And they probably know that their head coach is probably on his way out. He probably already knows he's being fired at the end of the year or leaving.
If he makes it that far,
yeah.
And the Giants are giving up 3 points to the Lions, so
I like that spread because
do.
the Lions, they don't win a lot, but boy, they score a lot.
Yeah.
But are the Giants going to score enough? That's the question. I'm okay with it. I like those picks. Let's do that.
Giants have a pretty good D. It's just that their D can stop the Lions.
Do they really? Does the Giants have a good D? Are you good? Do you know all about the Giants D?
I figured they're in New York too, so it's outdoors for the Lions in the cold weather.
They are a dome team, so all right. So those bet looks good to me. Good to you, Chris. I think you still owe me money for that.
I do. How much do I owe you?
$1 million.
Yeah, $1 million. I'll tell you after.
Because we don't want the public to know exactly how much money we're betting on things. But just to give you all a hint, it's a lot. We can each buy a car with all the money that we bet each week on this.
Yeah, easily. All right.
A Matchbox car, that is.
They didn't ask what kind of car.
I was thinking like a model car, one of those.
All right, so this past weekend on last Thursday, the Atlanta Falcons ended up losing to the Carolina Panthers 25-15. Sunday morning, Tampa and Seattle were over in Germany at 9:15 in the morning. Tampa Bay ended up winning 21-16, making Tom Brady the only quarterback to have won in four countries. Because he's won in the U.S., he's won in Mexico, he's won in England, and now he's won in Germany. Sunday afternoon, Detroit Lions went to Chicago and beat the Bears 31-30. Cleveland Browns went down to Miami and lost 39-17. The Denver Broncos went to the Tennessee Titans and lost 17-10. The Minnesota Vikings went to Buffalo and took to overtime for Minnesota Vikings to pull a 33-30 win. Houston Texans went to the New York Giants and lost 24-16. The Jacksonville Jaguars went to Kansas City and lost 27-17. New Orleans Saints went to the Steelers and lost 20-10. At 4:05, the Indianapolis Colts went to the Raiders and won with a first-time head coach, 25-20. The Arizona Cardinals at 4:25 went to the Rams and won 27-17. The Dallas Cowboys went to Green Bay and lost 31-28. Los Angeles Chargers went to San Francisco that night and lost 22-16. And the Washington Commanders on Monday night beat the Philadelphia Eagles 32-21. And we had a 5-way tie with 8 total correct picks. And then Gale and Smitty, you were holding up the rear with 6.
I don't think you heard my picks right last week.
Yeah, I heard them. We can go back to the tape if you really want.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm absolutely going to.
Smitty was the only one that picked the Packers tonight to win. So let's start this thing off. The Chicago Bears are going to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm gonna go with the Bears. Jeremy, who are you gonna go with?
The Bears.
Chris, who are you gonna go with?
Bears versus the world.
Smitty.
It's the Bears versus the Falcons?
Yep.
Oh, the Bears, for sure.
The Bears. All right.
All the time, every time.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Indianapolis Colts. Should be a
Philly.
get-right game. Going Philly. Chris, where are you going?
Philly.
Philly. Smitty? He's going with the
That
Eagles.
sounds like a horse to me.
And I am also going with the Eagles. The funny part is Eagles don't go "paka." They go "ah." Chris, the New York Jets are coming to the New England Patriots for the rematch.
Take the Jets.
Taking the Jets. Smitty.
Don't ask me this question. I don't like this question. Let me explain really quick why I don't like this question. Because I don't want to see the Patriots back in the playoffs ever again. But I hate the Jets. And if the Jets win, they take first place in the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
But the Patriots win, they're tied with the Jets and one game behind like one game, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But who do I think is going to win? It's in Pat's country, right?
Yeah, it's in New England.
Give me the Pats.
I am also going with the Pats. Jeremy.
I'm going to say they make it 14 in a row.
14 in a row for the Patriots. All right, Smitty. The Washington Commanders are going down to Houston.
I'll tell you what to do. That's the commander.
Because they point with all their fingers, right? The knife hand. I am also going with the Washington Commies. Jeremy, where are you going?
The commies.
Chris?
Washington.
Who thought that would ever happen? Where we all go with Commanders. Do anybody think
Nate
that was
picks
going to
the
happen?
Texans.
All right. Next. Let's stretch that out a little bit. See if that. Nope. All right. Next, we got me picking the Los Angeles Rams at the Saints. They're at the Saints. But it's the Rams. But it's the Saints.
Speaking of that, do you still want Tyson Hill? You want to take him for your...
No. I'm going to go with the Rams. I got some trades I would like to make with you, Smitty.
I'm pretty sure the trade deadline passed.
Yeah. Did it?
Saints.
Oh, the Saints. All right, Chris, where are you going to go?
Go with Jeremy on this one.
Go with Jeremy. Smitty, you going
I
to
think
come?
I thought our trade deadline for our fantasy was 19th. Was it the 9th? Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Oh, damn. Rams.
You realize Cup's out for at least 4 weeks.
Cup's is a puss. He can't handle crap anyhow. He gets a high ankle sprain. He has to leave. What kind of man is that?
He was.
I got hurt.
He was also part of the reason why I lost because I only got 2 points out of him.
I know, it's great.
Jeremy, the Cleveland Browns are at Buffalo. Well, at Buffalo in Detroit.
I'm taking the Detroit fans. Taking Buffalo.
The Detroit Bills.
Yes, the Detroit Bills.
Chris.
Bills.
Bills. Well, a few times the home team's gonna win in Detroit. Smitty.
Oh, if Miami can do that to Cleveland outside, they were outside, weren't they? They were playing in Cleveland.
Yeah.
No, they're playing in Miami. I think that the Bills can handle them too. I'm going with the Bills.
Bills across the board. All right, Chris. Carolina Panthers are at the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, they're at the Ravens. It's even a better pick for 13 points.
Ravens.
Going with the Ravens. Smitty. Another birdie.
All my birds sound the same,
They
okay?
do. I am also going with the Ravens. Jeremy, who are you going to go with?
I believe Edgar Allan Poe said it best.
Nevermore?
Yes.
Nevermore. Smitty, you get the first pick. The Detroit Lions are going to the New Jersey Giants.
Well, obviously, we just bet this, so I got to go with the Giants.
You don't have to.
I'm going to.
But I am also going to go with the Giants. How about you, Jeremy?
The G-Men.
G-Man, Chris.
Giants.
Giants.
Oh, come on, Chris. You should have said the Lions. That would have been so much better.
So I had the first pick at 4:05. The Raiders are going to the Denver Broncos. Oh, this is going to be an awful game. I can't trust the Raiders to actually win, so I'm going to go with the Broncos. Jeremy.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Going with the Raiders. Chris.
Broncos.
Broncos. Smitty.
Broncos country going down. Raiders. I don't know what this. I don't know what a Raider is, so I guess.
Derrick Henry just threw another touchdown pass.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
That's not fair. He's a running back. He's not allowed to throw. It's in the rules.
Well, now because I'm behind for some reason.
I am too.
Yeah,
I'm streaming on my phone here, guys.
It's a little jump pass too. He's good
No,
at those.
the internet is.
Dallas Cowboys, Jeremy, are going to the Minnesota Vikings. This should be a good game at 4:25.
It's 4:25. He only falls apart at night games. It's still early enough, so I'd say the Vikings. Oh, he doinked the extra point and missed it.
I agree.
Well, now they're even because that's what Green Bay did with their first touchdown.
No, the first touchdown they got blocked. Chris, where are you going to go with?
Vikings.
Smitty.
Vikings are playing the Vikings? I didn't hear that right.
Cowboys are playing the Vikings at 4:25.
They playing in the Cowboys or playing at Minnesota?
At Minnesota.
At Minnesota. In the dome of Minnesota.
Bang, 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 bang. Criminals, bang, bang.
Cowboys.
That's a Cowboy. That's a Cowboy.
I am going to go with the Vikings. It's not a primetime game. Chris. The Cincinnati Bengals are at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What shit show do I? I'm gonna go with the Bengals because I like half of my team is Bengals.
You sure the wife's not going to yell at you for picking the Bengals?
Oh, she knows their shit show this year.
Smitty, where are you going to go?
Well, I still want to say Bengals because they got Nixon and they have
Higgins.
They don't have Jamar Chase.
They got Higgins though.
Higgins. They have such power. But Pittsburgh is just one of those explosive teams that could come up and like score at least 6 points. So, kitty go meow. Let's do Kitty Go Meow.
Kitty go meow.
Yeah, Kitty Go Meow.
Alright, I am also going to go with the Bengals. Jeremy, where are you
Sweep
going to go?
it.
Sweeping.
Sweep it.
All right. Smitty,
Yes, sir.
8:20 Sunday night. Kansas City is going to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Chargers.
Chargers, really? I am going to go with Casey. Kansas City.
Of
Chiefs
course you
on
are.
this one.
Everyone is. They're gonna win. I'm just.
Jeremy,
The Chiefs.
the Chiefs. Chris,
I'm gonna jump on the boat.
Good, because if you don't, you're gonna drown.
did we lose him?
I think so. He jumped on the boat and missed a life raft, and down he went.
Smitty.
You going to go with Smitty? All right.
Yeah.
You realize that's a sinking ship.
I appreciate.
I'm in the
it,
Navy.
I thought
Good,
most
good job
people in
saving
the
me.
Navy don't know how to swim.
That's why they stay on boats.
All right, and I got the Monday night game. The San Francisco 49ers are going to Arizona Cardinals. I am going with Jimmy G and the 49ers. What about you, Jeremy?
Niners.
Niners. Chris,
Niners.
what about you, Smitty?
Succotash. There's a lot of gold up there in them trees. Wait,
Dem
Them
Dare
mountains.
Hills. Dem Dare Hills.
them there heels. So there you go. Yeah.
And that concludes our picks. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I did want to ask if we've done this. Who is winning as far as wins and losses for picks this?
Okay.
Have you got that? If you don't have that, it's
I
fine.
do.
just
I
whether-
do. And I've added some more information to it too. Because Amanda only seems to pick the Thursday night games. So
We'll just throw her away.
this is the percentage of picks. Anything over 100 means that you have picked all the games up until this point. So we are at 109 because we just picked all of our games for this following week. But Chris has missed a couple of weeks where he's been out. So
We love
he's
you
at
there, Chris.
84. Gail's picked most of the games, so she's in the 90s, so about the same as Mo, because I think they both missed a week. But Amanda has only picked 44% of games played.
Yeah, I think if you're under 50% of games played,
You don't.
So
You're cut.
I am going to make the cutoff at 80. 80% is only
I
you
like
pick
that.
80%. You will
Chris.
march to the ranks.
Oh,
But that just moves Chris from 8 to 7. Because Gail, with 91% of games picked, is at the number one spot with 57.778%.
Way to go, Gail.
Coming in second is Nate at 54.362%. Jeremy's right behind Nate at 53.373%. I'm behind Jeremy at 52.147%. Smitty, you're at number 5 at 50.92%. Mo is at 6 with 50.746%. And Chris is the only one below 50% at number 7 at 46.4% games picked correctly.
But I picked good games.
Apparently, Gail has been pretty accurate because she has picked 136 games. And
That's what, 2 weeks she missed?
it was her and Mo. So I think she may have picked the Thursday night game, but she didn't pick the rest of them where Mo missed a whole 2 weeks or something like that. It was when you guys were down in
is it?
Florida.
Oh no, it's just 1 week because you have picks this week.
Yes, because we have this.
Count to the
week's
total.
rules,
Okay. Okay, so we're all around 50. I'm low.
Oh,
50.
so our percentages are wrong then right now, Travis.
Yeah. Yes.
That's okay. I was just
Any of us who just picked the games, our percentages just dropped.
Yes.
That's
so.
Okay, so we're all
What
around
we'll do
55
is at
to
the
60%.
beginning. So next week, we'll after all the scores are in, this will automatically
Just
update.
highlight it all, hit Control C, hit delete, switch back, and repeat.
Okay. I didn't mean to cause a thing.
But I was going through the AFC and NFC rankings and stuff like that, and where they are. Like the Jets, Buffalo, technically they're flipped. Jets are at number 2, but Bills are at number 3 because they lost to the Jets. But it's like the AFC East and the NFC East are the only ones that have a winning record for all 4 of their teams.
Mm-hmm.
All the rest
the
of them,
Commanders are 500. That's not really a winning record.
it's winning for them.
It's better than a lot of leaders like Bucks only 5-5. So come on now.
Yeah, where we have the AFC and NFC South, where the highest team is 6-3 and 5-5. The rest of the other 3 are all losing records. The other, both sides.
It must be like it is to be Ohio State. You know, best team in your conference, but the rest of them suck.
So I was looking at that, and I was like, I was impressed with how, like, what the hell? Who would have thought AFC and NFC East would be the highest like games won per conference? I guess would be.
No, I figure Bills would be good. Miami would be better than average. Jets would be crap, and the Patriots would be a little bit better than crap, a little not as good as the Dolphins. And
that's where we all had them early this year.
Merlin said to tell you it's Thursday night that night.
Okay, and I didn't think the Redskins, the Commanders was going to win 5 games all year.
Yeah,
and I didn't think the Giants were going to do that well. So,
Heineke does amazing things for that team. I don't know what it is about him, but they seem to really like him. So that's like their golden goose right there. Every time he's playing, they play harder. So I just thought that was interesting.
Okay, I have a random question for you.
Yep.
Has ever all teams from the same division made the playoffs in NFL history?
Well, before they couldn't because there was only there was not enough teams in the playoffs to have.
It was 6 teams going to the playoffs, and there was 4 teams in each conference or each. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think so ever. No.
I mean, there's 5 teams, so there's 5 teams in each one. So, yeah, it never happened.
Yeah. Before that, there was more because there was less teams.
But was there less teams in each division? And was it always the same setup, whereas the winner of each division went?
Actually, I don't know as far as that
goes. You were
goes.
there in the creation of the NFL.
Because you guys think in 2002 was when they did the realignment.
Right. And before that, though, there was they had 2 teams. There was 15 teams, and there was 3 of each. There was North, like East, West, and Central. And there was 5 teams in each conference. I mean, each NFC, in each division.
Yeah.
So there's 15 and 15. So there's 15 in each conference, 5 in each division. And there were 6 teams of each conference going. So there was no way that 5 plus 1, it had to be at least 1 of each happened before that. Now, it might have happened before there was a Super Bowl when they were doing playoffs to the NFC champion or the NFL championship game. That's a possibility, but not in the Super Bowl era. And I know this because that question was asked, and I watched it 2 days ago.
so it's a trick question, because there has been a time where 4 teams from a division made the postseason, but it wasn't all the teams.
Ah.
You're a dick.
Well, this is the first year that if today were to be the day like where playoffs started, the Pats, I think by record wise,
the Pats are the 7th seed.
Yeah, would be the 7th seed, and they would make the playoffs. So that means all of the AFC East would make the playoffs, and
they feel good.
All of the NFC East would make the playoffs. I think if I'm.
No, the NFC. I think it's us.
Because the Commanders are 5-5, and then San Francisco's 5-4.
I think they're the 8th seed. The Commanders are 8th seed. There's one other team that's in there.
But that still means they make the playoffs.
No, only 7 seeds make the playoffs.
I thought it was 8 teams.
Nope.
So the Redskins are God dang it. The Commanders are
How are
8th seed.
How are they the 8th seed at 5-5 when
Hold on.
San Francisco's 5-4, Packers at 4-6, and Atlanta's 4-6?
I'm telling you.
Hold on, it's loading. The internet here sucks.
Because it would be Eagles, Giants, Cowboys.
Yeah.
It would be Bucks, Vikings,
Seahawks.
Who?
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Yeah, I think the Niners are in the,
The Niners. I
7th
think it's the
seed.
Niners.
How
The Niners
did
are 5 and 4
7th
also.
seed at 5? Oh, because they've only lost 4 games.
Right.
Because the the Commanders haven't had a bye week yet. That's why.
Right. That's why. Yes.
That's why. Okay.
And I hate your trick question, Jeremy, because that's true. There was one champion to champion, then there was 4. I think it was the AFC West. Probably 82, maybe. Something like that. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a trick question for you, Smitty.
I liked it.
All right. I think that's all she wrote, right?
Seems that way.
So, Chris, you have fun. Go visiting your family. And we will talk to you when you get back from all that fun stuff.
Ease.
Okay, guys. Have a good night. Go
That's all,
Packers.
folks.
Tigers.